Hey guys, it is time for our first quarter update for our 2024-2025 school year. I'm going to come and share the things that have gone well, the things that have not been so great, and some of the solutions that we have come up with to some of the problems we faced. My hope in sharing these updates is, yes, to let you know how the curriculum's working for us or how things are going for our personal family, but it's also to kind of walk you through the steps and processes that we go through when something isn't working, so that hopefully it can help give you the tools that you need to make those adjustments in your own homeschool. So that being said, let's get started. For my youngest two, my first grader and my second grader, they are thriving. Honestly, they are doing really, really well with school. They do about half their school here at home, and then they do the other half over at my friend Wendy's house from Plan Prep Pray. She has a YouTube channel. Definitely go check her out and hit subscribe. But she actually brought my two girls in and homeschools them with her youngest ones as a great way to have some accountability, as a way of helping out our family, because we do have a daughter with medical special needs that it takes up a lot of time and attention, and just as a way to motivate them and get them to strive for more. It's been great seeing them get all together. They're growing in their reading skills and their writing skills, and it's just been a fantastic opportunity overall. There are two kind of struggles, so to speak, that we have seen with the younger two girls, and one of those has been one of my daughters has been a rusher, right? School comes really easy to her, and she is all about the social opportunity. So she wants to hang out with her friends as much as possible, and we noticed a little bit of sloppiness in her work, whether it was physical sloppiness in her handwriting or whether it was just trying to speed through things. That being said, we've been able to have some really good heart-to-hearts and some natural consequences that have come out of rushing in work, like not doing as well on the test as your younger sister. That really helped, honestly, for her to kind of get that reality check of, wait, you didn't get that grade because that was your best. You got that grade because you weren't slowing down and doing your work to the best of your ability. So we've seen a change and a pivot. She still struggles with rushing at times, but with a quick reminder, she's being able to kind of slow it back down and to do her best and not just try to rush to do the next thing. When it comes to her handwriting, though, this was a bigger issue where we noticed there were some incorrect formations that she was making in her handwriting, as well as trying to rush through things, so not being as nice and neat. So we did decide to add the Christian Light Education penmanship book to her repertoire, and so she is now doing that in the mornings here at home, where there's a little bit more flex time and she's not as rushed, but then she takes that to Wendy over at her house for her to check. This accountability is fantastic, as she wants to show Wendy her best presentation of her work, and it allows her to not have that social pressure of trying to finish it so you can get to hanging out, because she's just doing it here at home. So that is one of the solutions we've had for that problem of rushing through things. The second issue that we've had, and it's not really an issue yet, but it's something that's on Wendy and I's radar for this year for the girls, is that my first grader is starting to match and even potentially surpass their second grade sister. This is not the first time this has happened in my home. I actually made an entire video about what to do when this happens, because it has happened. I have 6 kids, and this has happened multiple times for multiple subjects, multiple kids. And there are a lot of different strategies that we use to help our children deal with the heart issue of what happens when someone surpasses you, but also some practical things that you can do. So I just thought it's something I would mention. We're currently just kind of keeping an eye on the situation and seeing how it works, because they are in the same level. So there's more of an ability to compare here, and just something I thought worth bringing up. But if you want to learn more about it, check out the video down in the description below. For my middle daughter, she is my one with all of the special needs, with all of the medical needs and things. And she's had, oh my goodness, such an exhausting summer. She had 4 surgical procedures over the summer, multiple hospitalizations, was really in a bad place physically, and was going up to Kansas City, which is about a 3-hour drive from us, at least once a week. During August and September, we got a little bit of a reprieve. Things slowed down a little bit medically. We're still seeking answers, but we're just doing things a little bit slower. And it was kind of nice to be able to sort of step back and take a break. Now, that being said, she still saw 12 doctors in the month of September and had imaging done, MRIs and x-rays and things like that. But at least we were able to combine those as much as possible, so that we were only going up to Kansas City twice, staying for a couple of days, instead of having to go up every single week and have that disruption to our our school schedule and to our normal daily life. As far as how is she doing academically, we're still seeing many of the struggles that we have seen over the years. You see, part of her genetic disorder, 22q11.2 deletion syndrome, that she has is that working memory is going to be a struggle. And that has been the point all throughout her homeschool life. You see, with working memory, what happens with her is that she will learn a new concept, she will work in it and be able to seem like she's mastered it, but then when new material is introduced, it's like the old material just falls off. There are a lot of things that we've had to do to kind of combat this, to work on this, to help kind of make grounds, but honestly, it is one of those where it is 2 steps forward, 1 step back constantly. And this year is no exception. We have had to hit pause on her reading curriculum as we were working on vowel teams, and as we introduced new ones, she completely lost the old ones. So we have taken some time. We are doing a lot of games. I created a vowel team printable pack. It's on my Etsy store if you guys want to check it out, that I am working with her and doing games every single day. We are also bringing in a little bit of my older son's old Diana Craft program. They have the Right Brain reading flashcards that go through the different phonograms, the sounds, and going through those with pictures. And that really just helps to kind of burn into the brain in a different way, I guess. And so I am trying to use some of those flashcards with her to work on those vowel teams and some of the word lists from that curriculum as well. We're not switching curriculums. We are sticking with All About Reading. We love that. She is able to comprehend and to grasp the different rules and things. And I think that's more valuable to her right now because she will be able to apply that later on broader. But right now, while we're struggling with these vowel teams, we're going to scale it back. We're going to adjust how we're practicing and go from there. Now with her math, that is another struggle. So we started with Matthew C back last year when after having an evaluation, and they kind of explained this whole working memory issue, which we knew was an issue. We just didn't fully know how to articulate it until we had this evaluation. And so they had recommended choosing a very, very, very mastery-based math curriculum. And you can't get much more mastery-based than Matthew C. So we jumped into the beginning level of that, went through the first half fairly quickly, but when we made that transition from addition to subtraction, she really struggled. So I went back and forth for a long time about, do we keep going? Do we stay? Do we not? Ultimately, I did decide to go ahead with the program. We're still allowing her to use the supports of all of the hands-on math manipulatives. Even though the curriculum says not to go on unless it's 100% mastered, I just don't know if that is something she will be able to do fully, where she can see a math problem and always know the answer without having to think through it. She definitely understands the math concepts and does well with the math manipulatives. So because of that and knowing her specific needs, I decided to go ahead and progress her. But if we get stuck or if it gets to the point where it definitely seems like things are out of control, we'll pause and reassess at that point. Other than that, she is doing really well. She's doing the IAW community people and places and has really thrived in her ability to pick out key points, and even in her copy work, copying over the different things to make her keyword outlines. She is doing great in spelling. We did hold off on adding her Grammar Galaxy until the month of October, just to give her those first 2 months to really reacclimate after so many medical issues. We're enjoying adding that in. And of course, she still loves getting to jump into science and history as well. So what about my teens? I have 2 high schoolers and 1 middle schooler that have been doing a lot of independent work and or outside outsourced classes, meaning that they are doing things like redefining school. My 2 older ones are doing the high school level course. My middle schooler has been doing their literature survey and have been loving it. Miss Mindy is amazing, and their classes are so engaging and so helpful. They've really been enjoying that. They've been doing Apologia's self-paced course for physical science, really thriving and doing well with that. They are taking on doing their own science experiments and having those opportunities to learn together, as well as those opportunities to do things independently. So they do their lessons individually and then come together for the experiments. My daughter's even been doing her Inquisicook classes and doing her cooking classes independently as well. And we've gotten to enjoy all the delicious results of that cooking class. Not to mention the fact that they are taking several classes through our co-op, things like logic. So lots of great opportunities for learning. But a challenge that comes with this, and I think this is common for all families who have teens that are homeschooling, is there's always this balance of how much do I check in to make sure that we have accountability to doing what we need to do and to make sure that there's full understanding. we had to kind of adjust that a little bit. We are now back to doing weekly check-ins. So every Thursday, I check in with my teens and I see exactly where they are. I grade anything that needs to be graded. We talk through things. And that is when I discovered that one of my sons was struggling a little bit with his current spelling curriculum. You see, I have two kiddos that are using IEW's Phonetic Zoo and have had great success up until now, but now my son is sort of struggling. He's kind of gotten stuck on the same spelling list for quite a while, and I know that what he would probably do best with is a hands-on opportunity, a more kinesthetic approach when it comes to spelling. I decided to switch him over to using Spelling Power, which is what his older brother does. We very much personalize curriculum to that child. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the curriculum. My daughter is still using Phonetic Zoo and thriving, but I just knew he needed more of a kinesthetic approach. So with this, I'm reading off the spelling words, they're practicing the words they get wrong, but they're not just practicing it, they're saying it, they're spelling it in the air, they are closing their eyes and spelling it, they are doing games and activities afterwards to practice spelling those words over and over again. And that kinesthetic approach is just more the way his brain tends to work anyway. So I'm excited to see how that transition goes, and if we need to, we'll make adjustments from there. For my oldest son, he has been working on driver's ed and has been driving. Cannot believe I'm old enough to have a permitted driver, and my second son will be joining him this spring as well. So he has been working a lot on that. With my oldest, he is my one who has severe dyslexia, autism, and auditory processing issues. So I wasn't sure how things were going to go with him going into high school, but it actually has gone fairly smoothly. We've had hiccups here and there, but overall he's using his assistive technology, like using Speechify, which is an app that he can take pictures of any of his textbooks and it will read it to him and highlight the words as he goes so he can follow along to ensure understanding, and that has worked really well. He's used speech to text, which also is very, very helpful tool when it comes to writing his papers and getting things turned in. One of the struggles that we have found is testing. We have not done a lot of outside testing in the past, and this year, because of being in high school, there are several different tests or quizzes that are incorporated into the curriculum. I could bypass them if I wanted to, but truthfully, I want him to have those experiences and to interact with material in that way. So for me, it's more about the learning experience of learning how to study for a test and how to actually take it. Some of his tests, I am offering to do those verbally and have him give me the answers orally, and then we copy it down together, because his ability to understand and process is better when he can talk it out because of the auditory processing and the autism. That being said, I still want him to have this handwritten opportunity. So we've actually been using that and even using AI to help us to take the test that the curriculum uses and make multiple versions. So if he wants to take a practice test, he can take it and the material will be in a different way, in a different format. There's more information coming out about that soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the video when I talk about some of the things that we have been doing with AI in our homeschool and helping us to equip our kids better. But overall, we've been very pleased with the process. We've been very pleased with the way the kids have really stepped up. It's definitely a tricky time management task for them to manage their social calendar and their schoolwork and the other things that they have on their plate, but it has been something that they are working through and they are learning from. I'm actually going to be doing a workshop over in Made to Homeschool in my homeschool community on this topic of teens and helping manage commitments and relationships that they have in their lives. So if you guys would like to see that, you can actually try out a free trial of Made to Homeschool by clicking the link down in the description below and join us for that in November. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a lot of other great speakers in November as well, including Dawn the Minimal Mom and Jessica from Waldock Way. And so we would love to have you there as well. In the meantime, if you would like to see more about what curriculums we chose for this year, I wasn't able to update on everything, but if you want to see more about what we chose, you can check out this playlist here.